The sun had barely risen when Emma and her husband here, and their 2 kids packed into the car, their hearts racing with excitement. Today wasn't just another day, it was their long-awaited trip to the wildlife park. The air felt crisp, filled with the scent of trees and the promise of adventure. When they arrived, a large safari bus stood ready, already buzzing with chatter from nearly 20 eager tourists. The children's eyes sparkled with wonder, pointing at the massive vehicle that would carry them deep into the jungle. Before departure, the guide, a seasoned ranger with years of experience, stood tall and serious. His voice carried authority as he gave strict safety instructions. No loud noises, no sudden movements, and never step off the bus. The family nodded, unaware that these very warnings would soon be tested in ways they could never imagine. The safari bus rumbled forward, its wheels crunching softly over the dirt road as it entered the gorilla section of the park. Outside the wide windows, the scenery transformed into a breathtaking expanse of lush green grasslands, stretching far and wide until they blended with the shadows of dense forest edges in the distance. The children pressed their faces eagerly against the glass, their voices hushed with excitement. "Look, over there," one of them whispered, pointing toward a distant group of gorillas moving gracefully across the land. Their massive figures stood tall against the morning sun, blending strength with serenity. The tourists fell silent, the atmosphere shifting into one of calm and wonder. In that moment, the wild felt alive, yet peaceful, holding secrets waiting to unfold. The bus slowed to a gentle stop as a young gorilla wandered out from the tall grass. Its dark eyes shimmered with curiosity, studying the giant metal bus filled with strangers. The tourists leaned forward, holding their breath in awe. Suddenly, one excited visitor tossed a banana through the small safety window. The gorilla tilted its head, sniffed the fruit, and carefully picked it up with its powerful yet gentle hands. For a moment, silence filled the air. Then, with a calm stride, the animal disappeared back into the thick forest. The children erupted with laughter and applause, their faces glowing with joy. For them, this was the first magical moment of seeing a wild gorilla so close, an encounter they would never forget. After several unforgettable minutes watching the playful gorillas, the guide finally stood and clapped his hands. "All right, everyone," he said with a smile, "it's time to move toward the lion territory." A wave of excitement ran through the tourists. Children whispered eagerly about lions, while parents prepared their cameras for the next thrilling sight. The driver slowly turned the bus around, the giant vehicle crunching over the gravel path as the forest loomed behind them. Just as everyone settled back into their seats, thinking the gorilla chapter was over, the atmosphere suddenly shifted. The birds fell silent, the air grew heavy, and in that moment, something completely unexpected began to unfold before their eyes. Without warning, the quiet forest erupted with movement. One by one, massive gorillas emerged from the shadows, their powerful bodies stepping firmly onto the narrow dirt road. Within seconds, nearly 15 of them stood together, forming an unshakable wall in front of the bus. The driver slammed on the brakes, the bus screeching to a halt. Dust and mud swirled in the air as every tourist froze in place. The children who had been giggling moments ago now clutched their parents' arms tightly. Even the guide's usual confident smile faded, replaced by a look of concern. A heavy silence wrapped around the group, broken only by the deep breathing of the gorillas. The reality sank in. There was no moving forward. The bus trembled as one of the massive gorillas suddenly leapt onto the roof. Its weight made the metal groan, every shake echoing like thunder inside. Children screamed in terror, their little hands clutching tightly to their parents. Some covered their eyes, others cried, their voices mixing with the rattling roof above. Emma and Here tried to comfort them, whispering soft words, though even they could not hide the fear tightening in their chests. The pounding of their hearts matched the rhythm of the gorillas' movements. Leaning closer, the guide whispered urgently, "Don't panic. This behavior, though terrifying, happens sometimes. They're testing us." But inside, everyone knew, this was no ordinary moment. The largest gorilla, towering and powerful, stepped forward until its shadow fell across the bus windshield. The driver froze, gripping the steering wheel tightly. Then, to everyone's shock, the gorilla thumped its chest slowly, its deep eyes locked on the humans inside. With deliberate motion, it raised one arm and pointed toward its mouth. Behind him, several younger gorillas stood protectively on his back, like guardians waiting for his command. The bus fell into absolute silence. No one dared to move. The guide's eyes widened in sudden realization. "They're not attacking," he whispered. "They're asking for food." Murmurs spread among the passengers. Fear slowly mixed with compassion as they understood. The mighty beasts were desperate, not dangerous. With trembling hands, the passengers tossed bananas, packets of chips, and leftover snacks toward the waiting gorillas. The massive creatures moved forward cautiously, but to everyone's amazement, there was no aggression. The largest gorilla picked up a banana, peeled it with ease, and began to eat. Another carefully grabbed a packet of chips, opening it like a curious child. The crowd inside the bus gasped, not with fear this time, but with wonder. The atmosphere shifted. The tension that had once filled the air now melted into relief and awe. The passengers exchanged stunned glances as they watched the giants of the jungle behave with an unexpected gentleness. After finishing the food, the troop of gorillas sat quietly for a moment, their powerful eyes still fixed on the bus. Then, as if guided by an unspoken signal, the leader beat his chest softly and stepped aside. One by one, the other gorillas followed, moving back into the thick jungle. The once blocked dirt road began to clear, opening like a passage granted by the guardians of the forest. Inside the bus, passengers let out long breaths they hadn't realized they were holding. The driver, his hands still shaking, exhaled deeply and turned the key. The engine rumbled to life. Slowly, the bus rolled forward, leaving behind the encounter that no one on board would ever forget. Emma's children sat silently, still trembling from the terrifying yet unforgettable encounter. Their small hands clung tightly to their parents, seeking comfort in every heartbeat. He placed his arm around Emma, whispering that it was best not to continue toward the lion section. The danger had already revealed itself once today. Testing fate again would be unwise. The family exchanged glances, and together they made the choice to turn back. The road home felt safer, yet their minds replayed the moment over and over. The bus surrounded, the giant gorilla's gesture, the shared food. Though shaken, they understood the truth. They had lived through a story most people could only imagine. A wild, breathtaking memory that would remain with them forever. Emma held her children close, realizing this was more than just a trip, it was a lesson. Nature demands respect, patience, and compassion. Even the strongest of creatures can show vulnerability, and even in fear, humans can choose kindness. Dear friends, if you love emotional and true wildlife encounters, please like this video, subscribe to Animal Survival Stories, and share it with your friends.